Hi, I'm Simon Charlesworth, owner of Downderry Nursery in Kent, England. And we've been growing lavender for about 22 years and have arguably the most comprehensive and well-researched lavender collection on the planet, with some 400 species and cultivars sourced from growers and collectors from across the world. And we work with other uber geeks and anoraks to ensure we grow and sell the right stuff. So if you want Hidcote, you'll get Hidcote, grown from material from the original plant with that name from Hidcote Manor in Gloucestershire in the 1920s. There are of course many other lavenders as good as if not better than Hidcote, and just see our website for the amazing range available. Now Provence is really the home of our most familiar garden lavenders, which are really tough. Hardy to about -15 centigrade. There you'll find angustifolia, often rather confusingly and strangely called English lavender, the short and sweetly scented ones in a range of blue, purple hues, pink and white. And you'll also find the cross intermedia lavender. They're the late flowering, heavily scented whoppers with long branched stems and pointy flowers, and great architectural habits. The further you get from that epicentre, the weirder lavender becomes. So if you move to the Mediterranean basin, you'll find the eared lavender, Sticus pedunculata and viridis, variously French, Spanish and green. All are frost hardy, so that's about -5 centigrade. And across in North Africa, you'll find the dentatas or fringed lavender, which are half hardy, that's 0 centigrade. Then if you go way out west to the Canaries, you'll find the three-headed jobbies with filigree foliage, which are all tender, so that's +5 centigrade. And then back east to catch the incredibly sensitive and indescribably odd-looking lavenders from Egypt, Somalia, the Yemen, Oman, and as far east as India. And today we'll just be looking at the normal lavender, and in answer to 2 questions we're always asked. When and how do you prune lavender? It's now early September, and the angustifolias, like Hidcote, should have been pruned a couple of weeks ago, say by mid-August. It's now the turn of the intermediates, and they're on the cusp, so you could wade in any time soon to keep them in check. The principles are the same. The old adage, you have to be cruel to be kind, is ne'er truer than at this point. Firstly, the harder you prune, the more rapidly the plant will regenerate, usually within 4 weeks, with a couple of caveats. Secondly, if your lavenders are pruned fiercely annually, they'll live longer. So given the right growing conditions, poor, well-drained, alkaline soil, full sun, and a jolly good prune at the right time, they should last 15 years. The one thing that will clobber lavender is wet weather into and through the winter if pruning is done too late. Now, the easiest way to prune lavender, as with any plant, is to get somebody to do it for you, but in the absence of somebody, grab yourself a sharp pair of secateurs. These red-handled Swiss ones are a good investment and the best. If you buy cheap, they'll cut fine in the first year and then chew thereafter. Now when you're pruning lavender, it's no good just wussing about up here in the stems, as within a couple of years the lavender will be showing its woody legs. You need to search for small shoots down into the bush. Even if they're just nodules at the time you prune, they'll grow back to about 1 inch or 3 centimetres over the following 4 weeks. And just grab the plant by the scruff of the neck and just prune back. This is a plant called Gros Bleu. Fantastic for bunching, really dark purple flower. When you'd prune it, if you were pruning for bunching, you'd be pruning it about early July. But as it's just about over now, and these plants are not used for bunching, we're pruning now. So there, it's taken a few seconds to prune the plant. This is about 3 years old, and if you can maintain that height over the following few years, the plant's going to last for at least 10 years or so. To illustrate just how swiftly lavender grows, we put these angustifolia fulgate in May this year from a 9 centimetre or 3.5 inch pot, and we let it flower naturally in June, July time. It's been pruned over now, and you can see quite clearly the size it's made in just one season. A fulgate's fantastic, quite heavily set as a plant with a rich purple-blue flower, and in the early morning and late evening the colour just lifts off the plant. It's almost ultraviolet. Fantastic. Now, an alternative to letting the plant flower at the natural time is, when you're about to plant a 9 centimetre pot like this, just take off to about 3 fingers. So you slice all the early flowering or the natural flowering buds off, and then put that in, and you'll find that it will bud up again, and it will flower about 6, 8, even 10 weeks later than normal. And this will give you a good show later in the season. And we'll just have a look at a few of those now. So in early May we trimmed off our 9 centimetre pot, so we took all the first buds off and then put the plants in. And this is Angustifolia Miss Dawnberry. It's thrown fresh bud and is still flowering now in early September. And this is another great plant, a super blue. Superb for cutting and bunching earlier in the season. We normally cut these for bunching just before the flowers open fully, which is generally about mid-June, and then they dry spectacularly dark, much darker than even Hidcote.